Today, you're going to learn how to turn yourself into your own DeFi lending bank. Get ready, because this is going to be good. What is up, gang? It is I, Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro.
Yay!
And we are back again after I have taken a long break from the public videos. I've been working hard with the private group, and this video is actually some training for the private group, but I have decided to let everyone else in on it. So since this is public information, I must start out by telling you all that this is not financial advice. Any of you little hot dogging suckers out there who are trying to flip your rent money to get rich in crypto, you're going to end up a homeless bum without a place to live. So if that describes you, you probably should just go to the next video. This is just for serious investors. So I'm going to explain to you a new little test process that I created, something that I have executed here in the last few weeks. And it is what I call self-lending. So, you got DeFi where you could borrow and try to leverage yourself. And when things go wrong, they go wrong big. You could end up owing more than you borrowed, getting liquidated. And of course, during that last bull run, a lot of people lost tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and even millions of dollars fooling around with yield farming and getting involved in DeFi projects that fell flat. What was that one? Was it Circle? I can't even remember what the name was, but there was one main company that people lost millions and millions of dollars from. Now, instead of risking all of that, there's a better way to go about this, where you use your own assets and utilize the action of the charts to lend yourself money. And it actually does you a favor because you're going to be able to leverage yourself under the best conditions, where you end up with more money than what you had to begin with if you're using the chart correctly. So let me just begin by telling you what I did, and you'll get the gist of it. Now, I don't have a whole bunch of cash sitting around. I got bills to pay. I am independent. I have 5 businesses. I'm a retired engineer, and now I do consulting. I got a body shop, other stuff, but I don't have a lot of money to dump into the market. I am the type of guy who plucks off cryptos in their in their inception stages, the ones that look like they can have tremendous potential, where you can pull off 100x, 500x, 1000x type of gains. That's what I like to do. There's a couple projects that I bought. One of them is Swiftcoin. I bought that at 0.0001 or 001, whatever the case. I spent like maybe $100 and it's worth $1,500 right now, and moving up as we speak. Another one that I bought in the very early stages was Caspa. So when I discovered Caspa, I was like, oh man, this is too good to be true, but I'll go ahead and take a chance because it was a fair launch project. So I started buying Caspa when it was at 0.0015, I think, and I was swing trading, buying, selling. And then finally, after thinking, okay, this has got to be a scam, I discovered that it was real and decided to put that bag away and stop playing with it. And I leveled off at like 102,000. And I've sat on that ever since then. And it was at 0.004 when I decided to stop swing trading it and taking chances. But now, fast forward 3 years, because it was 2022 when I bought Caspa. I've sat on it ever since. And the best time to buy projects like that are after a bull market peak, like a year and a half after a bull market peak, when you know that Bitcoin has bottomed. Now, you can still get stuff like that and get 100x, 250x, 500x gains when you know how to look at the projects and how to analyze the charts. But at any rate, I've got 102,000 Caspa that I spent roughly $400 on. And now it is worth, what, 12,000 and change. So I've got that sitting locked down in my Tangem wallet. And I have not touched it ever since. And then I thought, maybe I should swing trade now and sell on a peak and buy back low. So every time we've had these nice swings, I've thought about swing trading it. Now let me go to a week chart here and I'll tell you what I'm talking about as far as swing trading. And that would be buying at the stochastic lows and selling at a stochastic peak. Okay, so let's say I decided to swing trade. So here's a stochastic low. And I'm thinking, all right, next time it goes to a peak, sell it all. So right here, the theory is sell it at this point and wait for the stochastic to go back down to the bottom and then buy it back again. Then wait for the stochastic to go to the peak, sell it up here, okay, at this point, and then wait until the stochastic goes to the low and buy it back again. Now that's a good swing trading tactic, okay, for the long term. And your trades might be months in between each buy and sell. But now I've got something even better because I'm going to tell you what, on all of these peaks and valleys, I chickened out and I did not pull it off. I didn't pull the trigger. And the reason is sometimes you end up selling here and then it keeps on going up. And you're like, oh, I'm stranded. I'll never be able to get back in. But they always come back to get you. That's what I say, that if you sold something and it was too early, if you have patience, if you deploy patience, they always come back to get you. And if you wait long enough, they do. Now, I don't think Caspa is ever going to come back down to this point again. It's probably a done deal because it is a project that is solid. It's been in development with constant improvement and a very active team of devs. And I know who they are. I've gotten a chance to chat with Jonathan on Telegram. I got to talk to Shai on Telegram. And I was lucky to be able to do that. It's like meeting Satoshi Nakamoto in person, So this is a real project. It's solid. So now what I decided to do is forget buying and selling the whole bag and try this new method out where I'm lending money to myself and not risking getting stranded, selling, and then it never comes back down. Usually that doesn't happen, but using this method, you don't have to worry about it. So here's what I did. I waited for this stochastic cycle to peak. You see it was peaking several times. And I was going to sell some. Then I got scared. It started to go down, but then it went back up. And I thought, okay, whenever they take that second run up after that initial run, here's the initial run, then they always correct. You think it's over, and then they shoot up again. That's when you know, yeah, we're probably getting to a local top. So it's pretty safe to say you could sell a little bit. So I wanted to raise some money, just a little bit, to go and jump into some Solana memes. Or maybe there's some hot base meme that you want to trade. I'm big on base chain and I'm big on Solana chain. No fees, very, very little fees. And so I only buy $100 to $500 worth of anything at any given time because I like to buy cheap and then let it explode 100x before I really sell and take profit. So here's what I did. I waited until that second peak and then I sold some. And I sold at 12.6 cents. Now, yeah, it went up a little bit more and then it came down. And reading the charts, knowing that this stochastic cycle needs to go all the way back down under the 20 line, I thought, well, this is a good chance to sell some here and use that to lend myself some money. So since I have 102,000, I thought I'll play with 2,000 because then I'm not risking the bag that is going to provide retirement for my wife, paying off the house, buying cars. I'm going to sell all the Caspa at the bull market peak, but I'm not risking doing that early. So I only sold 2,000, which gave me $250, about $250. I did a swap using the Tangem app because that is where I hold my Caspa. And I swapped out the 2,000 Caspa for $250 in Solana USDT. And I did a little test. I was looking to see how much it would cost, what the fees would be to swap out for Solana Chain USDT or Base or Polygon. And they were all about the same. It was within 50 cents of each other. The fee overall was like under $1. I mean, it was really cheap. So here I got to lend myself $250 so I can go and play with a Solana meme that I'm looking at. And that Solana meme, which one was I talking about doing? Let's see. Here it is. It's over here. It's actually, where is it? There it is. Silly Dragon is the one that I'm going to buy. And the tokenomics are great. So when I executed this, first of all, I waited for the right positioning to borrow some money from my Caspa bag. So I borrowed the $250 and now I already had picked out the project that I'm going to buy into, and it's Silly Dragon. Now, Silly is kind of in a consolidation move here, and the volume is just exploding. It went from, say, 100,000 to now it's popping into the millions. So let me just pull it up here for you. Let's go Silly Dragon and look at the volume and the market cap. So the market cap's only 2 million. Look at the 24-hour trading volume. It's at $4.5 million. That means it is in play. It is entering into the volatile price area where it's going to really start to make strong moves up and down. The tokenomics look great because there's only 1 billion in the supply, and it's 100% out there in circulating. Okay, so this looks like a pretty good project. And Silly Dragon, if you study memes, it's got the juice. Okay, people are talking about it in social media. It's fun, it's interesting, and people are trading this. The volume is very, very high. So this fits. Now, for me to be successful in borrowing from myself, I have to have 2 conditions. Condition number 1, I need to be in the correct position on the chart of the token that I have a great big bag, coin in this case. It has its own blockchain, then it's a coin. I've got to be in a good position where I'm selling at a local peak. That way, it gives me the time to play, and then I'm not losing. Right now, I could take that $250 and pay back my loan. And the interest is the fact that I will be getting more than the 2,000 tokens that I bought. So I'm going to pull up the calculator here. I'm going to show you how my own bank of Caspa will be earning interest if I decided to chicken out and not get the Silly Dragon and just pay back the loan right now. So the current price of Caspa is 11 point roughly 2 cents. So I'm going to take $250, divide that by 0.1117 to be exact, and that gives me 2,238 Caspa coins. So if I pay back my loan right now, I just earned 238 Caspa. Not bad. Okay, but we're not paying it back yet. Here's what we're going to do. Let's go back to the Silly chart. Now, you got to already have your play in place before you borrow from yourself. So number 1, the Caspa chart has to be in the right position where I'm borrowing from myself. And then the Silly Dragon chart has to be in the right place where I'm buying at a stochastic low. So if we look at the 1-day chart here, this thing has been fooling around. Here, let me just put it on the 1-week chart. Now you can see that there was a massive, massive dump. It's been down for a long time. This sucker was all the way up here at nearly 20 cents. And now we're at 0.002. So let's just do a little math again and see how much, where did my calculator go? We'll see how much of a gain that could be. If it just gets back to the previous all-time high, let's take 20 cents. Let's divide that by 0.002. You're looking at 100x. That's not bad. All right, now I'm not going to sit on this until it gets 100x. I just want to double it. Now here's what I'm going to do. We're on the 4-hour chart. Let's explode this price chart back up so we can see it. And you can see I've got a strike zone box and it's sinking down. It's bearish. And when it gets into the strike zone box, I'm going to buy. And when this flips over, that's when I'm going to make my purchase. Now on the 1 hour chart, we have a bearish flip. It's going lower. When this goes into the oversold zone under the 20 line, I'm going to strike. All right. You can drill it down to the 30-minute chart, which is bearish, and even the 15. The 15 is about the bottom. So that means all of these charts, the 15 will bring up the 30 and flip it. Once the 30 bottoms out, it'll bring up the 1 hour and flip it. Once the 1 hour is done down here, it will flip the 4 hour chart. Okay, so I'll take that $250. And this is what I'm expecting to do. Look at the previous run. You see this bullish trend here, and now we're in a correction phase. We had a bullish trending trading channel that had a peak up here at 0.003, and we're at 0.002. So I'm expecting that the next breakout will probably get us a lot higher than that. And if we look back here, we can get an idea of what we could possibly get. This peak right here is the one I'm looking at. It's almost at 0.004. So that's what I want to do. I want to buy this for the breakout. And then once I make my double, or I might just go for, say, 150%, I'm going to sell it. Now, let's be just conservative. Let's say I just go for this previous peak here. Let's go for a 0.00325 and do the math. Calculator, what happens? Well, if we get $250 worth right now, divided by 0.002, that's my strike price, it's going to give me 125,000 silly dragon. And then when I exit, I want to exit at 0.00325 to be conservative. That gives me $406. Now, during this time period, I will probably be looking at Caspa to make sure to know when to close this trade. And it's going to be when Caspa flips, okay? I'm thinking Caspa is going to check down right here to 10.7 cents. And at worst case scenario, 9.3 cents. But this is probably where I'm going to say, okay, it's time to get out of that other trade. So let's say if I get lucky and I pull off the trade with Silly, and that gives me roughly $400. We'll round down. I'm going to take that $400 and I'm going to pay back my Caspa loan. And once we touch down here at 10.7, I'm going to save $400 worth of Caspa at 0.107. That gives me 3,738 Caspa. So when I pay off my loan, let's subtract out the initial loan amount. There's 2,000. I gained 1,738 Caspa. And once that moves up and goes back to that previous peak, let's say at 13 cents, let's say 1,738 times 0.13, I'll have a gain of $225 just in Caspa after the fact that I've bought it at a lower price and moved it up. So that's how I am borrowing from myself based on the positioning of the charts on the coin that I am using to go into the piggy bank on and of the tokens that I'm using to flip. Now, the other bag that I have, let's just look at the Swift chart. I have 100,000 Swift. This is not a good time to borrow from Swift coin because on the 4 hour, we got a crossover here, which means this is going to cycle up and it's going to surge. So I can't borrow from Swift yet. I'm going to wait until this crosses over on the 1 day and it spikes up. As soon as Swift coin comes out of this and surges, once it gets up here to about, say, 5 cents, I'm going to start borrowing from it once we get to the peak. So let me draw a little line here for you. Let's just make it green. Let's say we move all the way up here to 5 cents, right? So once we get to 5 cents, now I can start to borrow. So I'll take out 10,000 of my 100,000 at 5 cents. And so let's say if I decided to utilize that 10,000 times 5 cents is $500. So I can borrow $500 from myself, from my Swift bank account, and then jump over to some hot meme that's at the bottom. And while this corrects, I'm making money. And then while the coin that I'm buying into goes up, I'm making money. And then as soon as this gets ready to reverse, it's time to pay off the loan. And then I make the interest because I'm buying back the Swift coin at a lower price. And I also made money on the flip for the meme coin that I want to buy. And that, my friends, is how you become your own DeFi bank. So if you've got a big bag of something and you're too scared to swing trade it and you don't want to sell that big bag early until the bull market peak, which I don't think is going to happen until October, then this is a good method for you. And it's fail-proof, because let's say I borrow that 10,000 Swift coin. I don't sell the whole bag right now early. And let's say the bull market peak happens in July. Well, I still got 90,000 Swift coins, so I've only sacrificed 10% of that to play over there in some meme coin. And then I'm going to make that money back anyway, because whatever meme coin I'm playing, if that's the bull market peak, I'll be selling that at the peak too. And I'll still be ahead. So let me know if this makes sense. And also, you might want to hit that like button and subscribe and tick the notification bell, because I'm going to let the cat out of the bag and tell you about all of the projects that we've been swing trading in the private group, which if you want to join, you can acquire by hitting the link, but don't pay anything until you talk to me first, because I do not want beginners. You need to have some dry powder in your gun before you jump in to the private group. We've got folks that, we're talking having a good sized portfolio, 10,000, 100,000. One has a couple million. And so they're not risking losing money that they need to pay bills. And if you've got some big bags, but you just want to sharpen your skills so you can maximize your gains during the bull market, then I will work for you. I give top-notch service, alerts. I share with them alerts on tokens and coins that you can swing trade. I give trading ideas. And I also identify projects that I think have 50, 100 to 500x potential at the bull market peak. And I will start a series where I'm going to share with you some of the picks that the private group already has. I'll go ahead and inform everybody so you can load up now and make you a bunch of money. And then if you want to sharpen your skills, like I said, you can come and join the private group. That's all I got for now. This is Carlton, and I am out.